today for my recipe that I'm going to teach you all is going to be sausage eyeballs. This is a recipe that has been in my family for a while. We make it normally around every holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. It's just a really easy and fun recipe, and I always grew up making it, so I figured why not teach it to you. Okay, so first of all, you only need 3 ingredients, so how much easier can it get? You need sausage. I bought pork sausage. You can get turkey sausage or whatever's on sale, just as long as it's sausage. And you're going to use basically an entire package and squish it all out there. And then this is my little trash box. Next you're going to use about an entire bag of about 8 ounces of cheese. You can buy this at a grocery store. It's mild cheddar cheese. Basically a little cheese. You don't have to use this kind of cheese. You can use whatever sort of cheese you like. Like if you want it to have a little more of a kick, you could do pepper jack. And then Bisquick. So Bisquick, for us, it's not really measured out. We just kind of put it in a tall glass so I can pour it out and not in a box. But you're basically just going to pour that in. The really cool thing about this recipe is that the name doesn't just, it means basically like they're going to be in the shape of an eyeball. But it's also kind of about the recipe too, because nothing is really like fully measured out. My mom always makes this and she just throws everything into a bowl and mixes it, which is the fun part, I guess. So I mean, if you want more cheese, you can have more cheese. If you want less cheese, you can have less cheese. Same thing with the Bisquick. Same thing with the sausage. Depends on however you want. After the first few tries, you'll tend to figure it out. Normally this is about the amount that we use, just because we like a lot of cheese in ours. We're a very cheesy family. So it's kind of sort of like meatloaf. If any of you guys have made meatloaf before, you just keep mixing and kneading. If you do have turkey sausage, you may want to add some butter or some oil or something. Turkey sausage tends to have less fat than normal pork sausage, so it just combines a little bit more easily. And yeah, so when you're mixing it, you may notice that like a lot of the Bisquick and the cheese is going straight to the bottom. You just, honestly, you have to keep mixing. You want everything to be thoroughly mixed, or else it's not going to be as good. And it takes a little bit of a while. Like I said, it's very similar to meatloaf, so you just kind of have to keep going at it. And alright, so now that it's about this consistency, it looks like really well mixed, basically, kind of an orangey look. You're pretty much all done. It takes a little bit of time to get here. I would say probably like 3 minutes if you get it well mixed. But yeah, pretty much at this point it's all done. I'm just really messing with it just because, I mean, squishy meat. Kind of fun, I guess. Alright, so the next portion of this is going to be the actual, like, shaping of the balls. So you're going to take about this much, kind of roll it into a ball. You want to go for about the size of a golf ball, maybe a ping pong ball. The goal is going to be to keep them as close to the same size and shape as possible. That's going to help you with the cooking process, and so that they cook evenly, cook all at the same time. If you have one the size of a softball and one is the size of a marble going at the same time, it's not going to be good. You don't want raw pork and you don't want burnt pork. So just try and keep it as best to the same size as possible. And like I said, there's no like exact measurement. Really, honestly, kind of sort of is like the shape of an eyeball, I guess. And you just want to keep rolling. Probably going to take you a little bit of time, but it's fun. I remember doing this as a kid, and we would just sit at the table and we would roll sausage balls all the time. So this is a great thing to do if you have like little ones. And I mean, it's also fun to just make if you're a messy person. So yeah, I mean, obviously, if you can't tell by the table, I'm a pretty big mess. So be prepared for that.
Go.
Alright, so now that we're finishing up, your tray should basically look a lot like this. You want them all to be touching basically. It's pork, it's a very greasy meat. So it doesn't matter that they're touching, you don't need to grease the pan or anything. It's all going to be nice and greasy by itself. So there's no need to add it. I would say probably the same thing with turkey. You may want to add just a little bit of oil to the pan. Not a lot though, just because it is sausage, even though it is turkey meat. But yeah, so it's going to go ahead and look like this. Alright, so now that we're done rolling all of our eyeballs, it should look a little bit like this in a nice little pan. We're going to put it in the oven. The funny thing about this is, just like the recipe while we eyeball all the ingredients, the temperature and the time that you cook it in is ironically eyeballed as well. Normally, because we cook it with turkey or casseroles, whatever's in the oven, it's going to go in. We're not going to change the temperature. It's going to be whatever is already set to. So normally, like when we cook the turkey, we cook it about 400 degrees. So that's what I have it set to right now. We're going to put it in for about 15 minutes. At the 15-minute mark, we're basically going to take it out. We're going to cut it open. Make sure that it's all the way cooked because you don't want to serve raw pork. We're not going to do it. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven. And just be careful when you put it in. No burns or anything. And set the timer. Oops, too far. For 15 minutes. And now we wait. Alright, so basically our eyeballs are done now. We're going to put on our oven mitts. And we're going to pull it out. We're going to check to see if the pork is cooked all the way through. If not, we're going to put it back in. Alright. So as you can see, like I said, it's going to be really kind of greasy at the bottom. Pork in general is a very greasy meat. So we're going to actually take one out and cut it real quick. Alright, so we're going to take our nice little tongs. Just pick one for the one that's closest. It may stick just a little bit. Remember, the pan is hot, so be careful. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it in half. Alright, so as you can see, it's fully cooked, so that means they're pretty much good to go. You may want to let them cool so you don't burn your mouth. But yeah, so these are sausage eyeballs.